So don't question me about my thing, just do your thing and be cool. Cause I know exactly whose I am, don't worry about it, homie, do you. Cause I've been rapping for a minute now. Used to walk around dead, but I'm living now. I'm just being myself, and evidently people gon' hate when you coming with a different sound. So don't question me about my thing, just do your thing and be cool. Cause I know exactly whose I am, don't worry about it, homie, do you. Cause I've been rapping for a minute now. Used to walk around dead, but I'm living now. I'm just being myself, and evidently people get it back. So don't question me about my thing, just do your thing and be cool. Cause I know exactly whose I am, don't worry about it, homie, do you. Cause I've been rapping for a minute now. Used to walk around dead, but I'm living now. I'm just being myself, and evidently people gon' hate when you coming with a different sound. So don't question me about my thing, just do your thing and be cool. Cause I know exactly whose I am, don't worry about it, homie, do you. Cause I've been rapping for a minute now. Used to walk around dead, but I'm living now. I'm just being myself, and evidently people gon' hate.
What's up, my tokers, jokers, and smokers? It's your man, Chef Rodney, here back with another edition of the Daily Chronicles. Hey, he's back, y'all. The master of OG Zonka. Okay, Zonka Miles, Hempful Farms, and Haters Make Me Famous. I give you Mr. Chris Martin. Chris, man, welcome back to the show.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Like, dude, you know, I don't even have to worry about Arizona because I know there's some bullshit going on, but at the same time, I know you got it locked down, man. I know you got it taken care of. Like, you've been busting your ass. What do you got going on lately, bro?
Man, we're killing it out here. We just launched in our new kitchen down in Tucson. Got Zonka back on the shelves down there. We launched at the Green Hill dispensary last week with some new rosin, RSO capsules. Got some neat stuff popping off down there. And then we're building up for this festival coming up here in May. We've got Imperious doing a big speaking event. We've got a legacy board where Patrick King is coming up with a bunch of us.
The Soil King himself.
At a legacy table and just talk about legacy brands. And
right.
So we're busier than hell. We got a lot of stuff happening.
It sounds like it, you know, it sounds like it with friends like, you know, Mr. King himself. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're going to be busy. You know, that's the problem. A lot of people, dude, look at Snoop. Look at how much he smokes a day, but look at the shit he gets done. He just bought Death Row. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, I'm going to buy Death Row. He did it. That's the point. He did it, you know, and ain't nobody telling me, you know, that's the thing. You can't step to Snoop and be like, you're lazy. You're like, okay, see you at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, right. That's the point. Like,
and that's what I want my legacy to be, is I wasn't lazy. You know, let's work hard. Let's get it.
That's it. But that's, you know, get some. Like, go get some. But, you know, it's more than just that. And it's like we were talking about a little bit ago. There's layers to your layers. You know, there's reasons. There's more than just the drive itself. There's the scenery, you know. And with that comes this kind of internal compass to drive you to do what you do. You know, your book and your podcast and your documentary and everything that you do embodies your drive to, you know, fulfilling those destinies or fulfilling those promises and things of that nature. And dude, honestly, that's one of the most iconic things I've seen, you know, in quite some time. It may not sound like much coming from me, but seriously, dude, thank you for that. A lot of people, they need to take a lesson from just that itself, you know, let alone everything else you're doing.
I appreciate it, man. I just look at it like this. I got a second chance at life. You know, I easily could have got over 100 years in prison like they wanted to give me, and we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
I could have easily got out of the game and went off in the sunset and played grandpa and mom, you know, pop and mom, and been parents and just left this whole thing alone. But what justice would be done at that point if I don't help get people out that are still in that position, if I don't help fix laws that are garbage, that are going to throw people into that position again? And I'm here to do it. You know, I gave my word to a lot of people inside, just like I did on the outside. And that means something to me. You know, my legacy, what people say about me when I'm gone, might not necessarily mean a whole lot to me, but it's going to mean something to my kids. It's going to mean something to my grandkids. And that matters. That's that drive you talk about for me personally, that keeps me driving and going and just trying to do better than I did yesterday. And and do it from all angles. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always about sales or growth and building new stores, and that stuff's great. And that's I think, to me, that's the end result for all the hard work you put in at the beginning. To me, it's really about doing it as a family. You know, my kids work for me. My grandson's here 3 days a week hanging out with me. My wife works here. My cousin works here. It's literally a family business. I love being able to employ the family. I love being able to do that.
To
But
give back, yeah, to provide.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then on top of it, they learn a trade. They learn
Mm-hmm.
something and find it inside themselves of why they're here and why it's so important to them to carry on this message. And it becomes more of a movement than really any job or brand or anything like that. And I think that's what makes us a little more, maybe special in my eyes, or little different than other companies.
Oh, I'll add to that. You know, it makes you an institution. It creates these levels of drive. I mean, that's the point. You're reinstilling that into future generations. You know, and it couldn't be that's probably a very pious thing to do, very holy, but at the same time, you absolutely should do that because first and foremost, before you do that, there was a lot of healing in your part that you kind of talk about in your book and the documentary and stuff to be able to do to that led up to that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, people don't understand that, and that's what needs to be reflected in the drive being kind of passed down in generations.
When we got into this, we were kind of thrust into it because of how the raid happened, and how it was more about crime and criminal effort than it was about education and bad laws. So I feel like we were blessed with an opportunity to become educators and to become, to some people's eyes, maybe examples, but in our eyes, more of, we just walked it. You know what I mean? It happened. We didn't have a choice of how it was going to go. All we knew is that we were coming from a good place and that we weren't doing anything wrong. So
Right.
I think having that family bond just helped us survive how, shitty it was.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it was really more about our family strength and that bond. It was really more, and teaching us that we had a bigger message here than just us and just our book and movie. I feel like the book and movie were really more about protecting our family because, some of the stuff that went down in our case was shady as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we were attacked by the biggest gang in this country. And you see the power that gang has really, really fast. So that's why the book and movie came out. It was more about, hey, look, if their house burns down, go check this county out. You know what I mean? Like that's really the driving force behind it all. Everything else was really about our family. It was really about how, I can't get over every day I walk in here, my boy's making dog treats, my daughter's making lotion, my wife's running calls. I just smile. You know what I mean? I got a 5,000 square foot spot. I got a full kitchen with double walk-in. I cook food out of in the morning. We're producing product by night. It's not a day in is work to me. This is exactly why I came home from prison, was to continue on this journey.
If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, right?
Never, man. We just try to find more ways to enjoy it.
Oh, exactly. I want to point out, like, with the book and the documentary, which very well put together, and from that, it's not just to show, solely like protect your family. It was you're protecting you. It's exactly what you did. But the from the outside looking in, what I saw was people need to understand this so it doesn't happen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point too. And that's a good takeaway for just the generalized public, people that may not be in cannabis or people that, maybe or whatever. The point is, didn't used to always be legal. In fact, it was where you could get pulled over with cocaine. They'd be like, all right, whatever. You'd spend a night, pay a fine, and call it a day. With weed, no, you're going straight to jail. And that's not all right. That's not all right. I've seen more lives ruined with cocaine, addictions and things of that nature. I've seen somebody shot over cocaine, an 8-ball. I'm like, seriously, like, we fighting lives now? No shit. I ain't throwing down nothing, but you know, I've never seen anybody fight over weed. I'm sorry, like I've never seen anybody fight over weed, but
You know,
it is what it is.
when I wrote the book, it wasn't even really a book. It was more of a memoir to my kids, you know, because the media took over our
Right.
story and made it look like this gang banging, drug dealing meth head.
Well, you got to
Well,
think about
you know,
who they report back to, and who pulls the strings there too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. So really, the book was more about, hey, kids, this is what happened if I don't come home from prison. If I'm gone for life, here's the truth from my eyes so you can make your own decisions of what kind of person I am. I had no intention of that book ever being public. The book only went public because my agent read it and said, what are you doing hiding it? Why is this not
it's good.
out
Yeah.
in people's eyes?
Yeah.
And I went, well, I didn't write it for anyone else. I wrote
Right.
it for my family. And he said, that's what makes it so special. That's it's real, it's raw, it's what
gritty.
people want to read. So we published it, and once we published it, that's how the documentary came about. He said, look, books are great, and people love them so much that they want more. Let's give them more. So we produced the documentary after a year of filming, and you know, we're doing an epilogue right now. We're going to add some new content now that I've filed a pardon and got my expungement, and Mom got my civil rights back. And we've done a lot of
Congratulations, dude. Congratulations. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're probably going to change the name, do a different, just because haters make me famous makes sense to me.
Correct.
You know, and when people read it now, I get some negative connotation back where they think there's some ego involved, or and they don't understand it because they don't know the story yet. You know, once they watch it and read the book, then they're like, they all hated you. That's why you called it that. I get it. But a lot of times they see me looking like a bully on the front, and then they read it and they're like, this prick thinks he's going to be famous. And that was not my plan behind the name. The name was really like every left turn we took, we had someone bullying us, and they didn't beat us. That's really what that title was for. So without giving up too much, we were thinking about doing a re-release in 23 with the epilogue, some new info. We're trying to just wait for this pardon to go through. Once that happens, then I'll have more information. But yeah, that's kind of the plan with Haters Make Me Famous right now.
I mean, and that's not the only thing you're doing. You know, you also got your Zonka brand. You also got Hempful Farms. You're running, like you said, the shop. You're running a family. That people don't talk about how much work that is, you know?
Yeah.
Even the smallest of family, it's work, dude. You know, like that's the thing, you know? And
yeah, we have 2 kitchens in 2 hours apart. So I have a kitchen in Tucson where we do edibles and our concentrates. And then I have a kitchen in Phoenix where we do Hempful and have a retail store. Plus our retail store in Chico still. So we're spread all over the place. But you know what? It's why we're here. We love it.
Exactly. You know, there's an appropriate time to spread your legs. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the point. But, you know, I get, I got to say, man, here's the thing. You saved my ass this year. I had COVID, you know, late last year, and I hit you up and I was like, I'm dying, bro. You're like, I got you. And I got that CBD in me. I'm telling you. And then as soon as like I started telling my friends, yo, it does work. Like, cause there was some, we didn't know, like you and I talked about this, like, does it help with COVID? Nobody really knows yet, but basically we think so. Right. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you were right. It does. And here's the science for you. And I was like, no shit. And it happened right around the same time as I got the fucking tincture from you. And I just started getting the gummies. I have maybe 2 gummies left. That's about it. So I definitely got to re-up sometime. But like,
we got you.
Dude, those gummies are good. They're not, you can't taste, you know, anything in them, if you will. They're a good consistency. They're a good dosage. I mean, I have to eat a couple, but that's just because, you know,
they're low
dose.
You know?
Yeah.
We have kids that eat them, and it's a water soluble CBD that we use in them.
Oh, it's good. It's really good. I've had some people say, hey man, try this gummy. And then at first it's like, all right, cool. And then it hits you with that twang, and that it's like putting a 9-volt battery, and it's like, no, it's not. What'd you do? You know what I mean? Like, and then you're just way too high. They're like, oh, it should only be 25 milligrams. No, they're like, wait, no, that's 250. That makes more sense. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yep.
I can appreciate looking on the label of your product and going, that's how much is in it, and then
Awesome.
taking it and it's good, you know. And
Awesome. Appreciate
not
that.
to mention, like with your eyedropper bottles, man, those are like some of the biggest I've seen in the market. So it's like you're getting your money's worth. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And it's
Yep.
like, I can tell you right now, I can absolutely contest. This is not pitching the product. This is nothing. That shit saved my life from COVID. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It really did. Like a day and a half later, I was able to start doing dabs again. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna live. Like, I'm gonna
Well,
live.
we're pretty lucky as a company because we are connected to the farm, you know.
Mhm.
So not only do we control the margin on the cost and can give out bigger portions for better deals,
Mhm.
but I feel like the integrity of the plant is held up a lot better when you don't have a bunch of hands that it's going through, or not. Some people don't even know where their biomass is coming from, or who
This is
grew it,
true.
or the SOP on the grow, or great thing with our stuff, I
Oh, his phone's been doing this lately. So watch, it's like a magic trick. He'll drop out and come right back. It's kind of funny. We'll wait for it. This is like the fourth time. 3, 2. There he is. See, I
there
told
he
you he would
is.
drop out and come right back. It's been happening.
Man,
You're all right.
that
You're all right.
interweb is going crazy today.
It's all good, man. The technology. But no, you were saying like SOPs and stuff from flour.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of places that carry product either don't produce it or don't know where it came from or can't tell you anything about the product. And that's one thing I love about my stores, that people can come in and they know they're going to talk to the guy that probably
Mhm.
either planted it or knows the guy that planted it, harvested it, manufactured it, something along those lines. They're going to know the process. And I think that honestly, that's why we're still here. I know a lot of mom and pops that have come and gone in the 10 years that we've been open, and God bless them, because man, this is not easy.
Mm-mm.
I think part of why we're at that level now is because of that consistency. Like you said, you read a label and you go, yep, that's what's in there, and that's what you expect, and that's what happens.
Right.
We probably got a over 90% ratio of that working, and that's
Good.
what
You-
people
it
need.
shows,
That's what
man.
they're looking for.
It shows, and I feel that like with more studies done in cannabis, which we need more, let's face it, there'll be more labeling put on the products. That's just to go with like nutritional facts and things. We're gonna figure these things out, and then they're gonna be, and that's fine too. Allergies are a big important thing. People kind of know where your shit comes from. That's a good thing to know. Not to mention, like, if you don't like flowers, then don't smoke weed. Like,
Right.
there's a couple people are like, why do I always get like, I'm allergic to weed? No, you're allergic to pollen or flowers or something of that nature. That's what it is, but whatever,
Yep.
I'm done arguing, 1 + 1 with people. Sometimes it's interesting, but only when I'm feeling giddy.
It feels like we're past that point, right?
It's just to the point where it's like, and I've only been doing this for a few years. You were there at the beginning. Like, I've only been doing this a few years, and 2022 has quickly become the year of no for me. Like, I've already turned down. I had a person call me just this morning, and they were like, "Hey, how much would you charge me to film and do this?" I was like, all right, well, this is how much it costs. This is what comes with it. My breakdown on prices. Like, I'm a small business, if you will. Like, I'm also a brand. I'm also like the content, like everything, all wrapped into one. This is how much it costs. And they're like, well, I feel I can get it cheaper. I was like, then why did you call me? You already knew you were gonna call. What do you want me to bargain against you right now? No. This is what I cost. If you want me to do it, that is what it costs, and that's what comes with it. Well, how can you guarantee? Are you serious? Like, okay, well, I guarantee it'll happen. I mean, I'm sure if you threw down money, you're gonna want to really make it happen, and so are we. So. Yep. They're like, things pop up. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. It's just, there's a lot of tire kickers lately, especially here in Michigan. And I know I've heard about Oklahoma. There's a lot going on right now in Oklahoma.
Yeah, a lot. We've been looking out there on a couple different levels, just because I'm from Kansas. I grew up in Kansas, and Kansas has passed medical a couple times, but their governor of the past decided not to listen to the voters and vetoes a lot of their decisions out. And we're hoping that this year we're going to change that. So Oklahoma's always been partial to me just because one of the foster home or group homes that I was in Pittsburgh, Kansas. It's on the border of northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. You know, it's a great place to stage. If I started off on the Oklahoma side and expanded my brand out there, once my hometown opened up, bam, I'm right across the border ready to rock and roll. And the cost of producing out there versus what I paid to produce out here isn't even going to be close in the same ballpark. I mean, we're corporate state here in Arizona. You know, I've only got so many licenses. The cost of those licenses are now equal to $12 to $20 million. I mean, come on, like what kind of business model is that, starting off 40 million in the hole? I don't want any part of that. So, you know, we've been helping work with the Kansas Cannabis Coalition, trying to get Kansas to get at least medical going in any shape or form. You know, like I said, it's going to be one of the last states, but you know, if we can help that happen, then that's what we've been kind of working on right now.
I mean, look at the Bible Belt, Tennessee. They've got some stuff going to vote right now. I've got a lot of family in Tennessee, and let me tell you, black market don't give a shit. I will tell you that it doesn't matter what state. It's there. You can't help it. But what I can say is this. There's the CBD craze. The gas station CBD is already hitting the scene down there. There's a few CBD places popping up, and that's absolutely great. That's the start. Okay, when those start popping up and that shit starts popping up, give it 5 years. Give it about 5 years, and you'll have dispensaries coming through with medical. And then give it another 2 or 3 years, maybe 10, depending on where it goes. And it could just, screw it. Let's just skip. It is what it is. But roughly, let me tell you this: in 10 years, I'll be able to go down there, taking my weed with me, driving, you know what I'm saying, and being able to pick up weed with a Michigan license. Mark my words, because Amazon's getting ready to ship. And you don't think that they're going to... No. What they're going to do is they're going to push for the legalization in all 50 states so they don't have to worry about not delivering it. You know what I'm saying?
And
it's kind of on them.
I think I have an opinion on that. Not that it ever matters. We all got them. But if you own stock in private prisons or you lobby to keep people locked up in jail for a plant, fuck your legalization plan.
I'll give you that.
That's really how I feel.
I'll give you that.
Amazon's one of the largest stockholders through Vanguard of private prison shares. Fuck those guys and their legalization plans. They shouldn't even have a seat at the table.
I don't even know
care how much lobby money they throw at it. They shouldn't be allowed to have a voice, period.
That's conflict of interest.
Owning stock in a prison.
I never knew that, man. I appreciate that info. Seriously, like...
Oh, yeah. If you go to Vanguard's website, you can they hide it pretty well. And you got to dig and dig. Shell Corp's owning whatever, but Bezos has owned stock in the private prison sector for a long ass time. All the businesses have. In 2013, prisons were allowed to restructure as a real estate investment trust. So that just means that now it's a publicly traded company hiding under the private status. It's nothing private about it other than where their funding's coming from.
So, I'll go out on a limb and say this. Do you think it's a modern day slave trade?
Oh, it has been. They realize that they can't fill bed spaces with potheads anymore. In my state, they do it with the illegals now.
Yep.
It's like 65% illegal alien in prison. Why are they being held in state prisons? It doesn't even make sense to me.
Because it's money for them.
Because it's a business.
Yeah.
Because my state has a rule on the books that says if the prisons aren't 90% full, they sue the state and the taxpayers cover those bed spaces. So you think those prisons are ever going to allow for those bed spaces to go empty? Oh, no. We'll arrest more DUI, or we'll arrest more potheads, or we'll write more bullshit laws. We'll make sure those beds stay full because there's too many shareholders that get pissed when there's no dividends, and there's no money.
For sure. Oh, for sure, dude. you know, anarcho-capitalist, if I really had to break it down. Meaning, if I own two cows, I own two cows. There's no need for the state or the government to come near my cows. What do you? I'm not going to pay tax. I don't feel as though, hear me out, on the other side of things, because I can't have claimed to ever went to prison, jail. That's one thing. Who
Yeah,
hasn't? But I can't speak on
that's
that.
a good thing.
Right, right. But at the same time, you know, not appropriate for me to speak on if I don't know about it. But what I can speak about is a civilian life of, you know, being a chef and not getting paid what you're worth, you know, and things of that nature. You and I have talked about, you know, before on shit, I don't know. We talk all the time. So it's like, well, I don't know where, but we talked about how, you know, the hierarchy kind of in prison is very similar to that in a lot of kitchens across America. You know, a lot of the same, you know, slang terms are used. The methods, I mean, you know, a little bit different, but you know, they're effective nonetheless. You know, you really work as a unit. You know, you have your outcasts and things like that, black sheep, the whole nine. And honestly, if you think about it, and I'm not saying this to you know, contrast the two, I'm just comparing as much as I can. You know, to tell you the truth, the fact that nobody these days in kitchens is paid what they're worth, period.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really honestly think that the restaurant owner or the managers are going to pay you enough to live near them? No. And so, and this whole, oh, you're a family or revolving door policy or blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit, you know, to get you in to basically extort your fucking life. To be like, all right, you're working 95 hours this week, but I'm only going to pay you for 40 of those because the rest of those were on your good. No, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
Honestly,
pay me
that's
for my shit.
why I opened up my own cafe 10 years ago.
Brilliant.
I mean, I felt like pay was bad then. And, you know, $30,000 sous chef job. Like, what the fuck is that, man? Like,
it's garbage.
I made more money when I was in school and worked at the same time. So I felt like it wasn't going to change. I felt like it was only going to get worse. And man, I didn't even see COVID having anything to do with it. Look where we're at now. So we're actually trying to work on a program right now to help fix that. With as bad as restaurants are doing, especially where I'm at, I can't really speak of everywhere, but I know Phoenix has a huge food population. As far as like Bell Avenue is probably 15 miles long, and it's nothing but restaurants. It's a road just full of businesses and restaurants, and they're struggling. Then on the other hand of that spectrum, you've got people coming out of prison hand over fist that need jobs, and they got to get to work, and they have to report for probation. They got fees and fines, and they got shit to do. Well, in prison, when I was there, one of the requirements was to have a job. And one of the main jobs was in the kitchen.
Right.
We've written a curriculum that would cause for whoever was approved in the program, they would end up taking an 8-week curriculum at the prison, starting this whole class in the jail. And then once they were released through their probation or parole officer, upon, you know, making sure the crime was doable.
Approval. Right.
We're not gonna be fucking around with kid touchers and all that shit.
Right.
But you know, once they're approved into the program, they work the 8 weeks in prison. Then they come out to either my kitchen. Chiba Hut has agreed to use their kitchen. But whatever the curriculum is, it would be placed into these kitchens. So when they came out, they'd get a 4 to 6 week, you know, end of curriculum to take, then test out. And then they even walk into a position where now you've got work. I mean, these people have to have a job. That at the end of the day, if you're on any type of paper, you got to work, period. What better way than to try to do this? So we shopped it and we spit it out to Fox Concepts down here, and they shot it down. They weren't, obviously they're a big corporation. They're not, you know, for lack of better terms, they're not trying to help anybody out coming out of jail. You know, they think there's better people to serve than that community. And what I want them to understand is that we're looking at almost 35% of our community has been to jail or had some type of crime. That's a large part of our population that is still normal people, that still needs a job, that still needs to go to work. And how many restaurants have closed? How many, and I'm not talking even corporate chains. I'm talking all the mom and pops that have been here 30 years, and now you can't go get a bagel because they just couldn't staff the place. which is ridiculous when I got 12 dudes I know coming home over the next 3 months that need a job. They'll make bagels all day and won't blink. So that's one program with our nonprofit, Zonka Miles, that we've been really, really working hard on to help with that problem. And, you know, just instead of calling it like it is, we're going to try to be part of the change. Let's try to fix it. Let's see how we can make this better.
Absolutely. You know, more to that point, there's actually a list of, and I forget, I mean, you just have to Google the term, but, you know, companies that hire felons. There's a huge list of people like that. And that's great. That's fantastic. But unfortunately, you know, that we need more. You know, those jobs may not be accessible to people coming out of prison, going back home or going to wherever they're going. So we're going to need more. Furthermore,
Correct.
You know, it fucking makes sense. I will trust it. I'll say this right now, as a, you know, as a chef, man, as a cook, as a person who creates food for a living and does a few other things, but first and foremost, chef. That's what I've done. I will hands down hire anybody out of prison. Doesn't, you know, depending on what you did, obviously. Again, you know, no kid touchers and shit like that. But at the same time, if you went, you know, for like fraud or something 15 years ago, then yeah, like, come on, man. Can you cook? Let's go, boy. I could teach you, you know. And that's my point. That motherfucker will show up every goddamn day. One, because he wants to. She wants to. They want to. Sorry. Two, because they fucking have to. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, you're just because you got out of prison doesn't mean you're not being watched.
Right.
Okay. I've actually hired quite a few people from prison. It was stupid petty shit. You know, it was one was breaking and entering. He was like, dude, it was my house. And he was like, all right, you know, stupid shit. You know, here's the police report. Read it. Like, a lot of times when
but
shit
if he's
like
on
that,
paper for a year, you know damn well he ain't gonna miss a day of work.
Exactly. And that's the point. Like, there was one time I had to cover for him. One time. And let me tell you what happened. And I feel that if I don't, they're like, oh, see, one, fuck off. He literally was driving to work, had a car, you know, he was getting his shit back together. He had a tether too. They had to watch him. You know what I'm saying? No big deal. Okay, he's going to work. We know where he's going. I don't give a shit. You know, he gets T-boned in an intersection. Not his fault. He didn't run the light. This old lady did, and straight smashed his car. I get a phone call immediately from him. He's like, Chef, I'm bleeding. He's like, I'm dying, man. I'm like, where are you? And so I, you know, it was literally 2 blocks from the restaurant. I go up. I'm like, dude, you're fine. Don't worry about it. He's like, I can't come in. I was like, no shit. Like, you're bleeding, dude. You'll be all right. And like, he had health insurance as one of the things he made sure his mom help him get it. You know, she worked for the state, so it helped, you know. And long story short, he never clocked in that day. You know what I'm saying? So when they were going through his timesheets and stuff, they noticed he didn't clock in that day. I'm like, that was the day of his car accident. They're like, what car accident? I'm like, the fuck do you mean? Like, that doesn't pertain to you, but since you need to know, you know, I explained it to him a little bit. I felt that it was appropriate to at least tell him what happened, and they looked into it. They did, you know, and things of that nature. And then they're like, okay, but make sure it doesn't happen again. And I'm like, you guys are fucking assholes. What do you mean make sure it doesn't happen again?
Right.
And so, you know, that's how they say it. You know, they wiggle that serious, nonchalant bullshit finger at you. And it's just like, no, dude, I got a finger for you, but, you know, it's not appropriate in public. Well, fuck it. Here it is. You know what I mean? That's my fucking point. Like, we got to start doing what these truckers are doing. You know what I mean? And I say you've been doing it quite a bit longer. You know, I've just been an asshole my entire life and just fuck the system, but that's just me. You know, but I think about where we're going with stuff. And dude, here's the thing. We don't want to take from anybody else's plate. You know, we don't, honestly, if you want to be dicks, we don't even want to sit at your table. We just want to have the ability to have our own table, you know what I'm saying? And have our own existence. I don't want to be accepted by everybody. No, that sounds like too much fucking responsibility. Instead, I just want to be acknowledged as, you know, a person in this world. I mean, you know, it gets to the point where like, yeah, you like what you do, but, you know, can we just do it for a living? There's people out there, like I said, playing Minecraft, making millions of dollars a year, and I'm here doing this. I ain't making nearly as much. Speaking about making stuff, I wanna play an old clip that I got here that I made a while back for Hempful Farms, because I want to see if any of this stuff is still on the shelves. If not, I want to see what we got on the shelves. Here we go. That was like watching an old family video that you're embarrassed of. But no, you got hempfulfarms.com, zonkamiles.org, ogzonka.com, hatersmakemefamous.com. Dude, you got a lot going on. You got a lot going on. And if we can talk about it, can we talk about what's dropping in March?
What's it? March? What's March?
Used to be Social Club.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. Look,
You're
I
good.
need a nap. Yeah, March Social Club is now Altered TV, Altered.tv, and we're dropping Convicted Creations. We're gonna be dropping our cooking show. It's a prison food cooking show. We'll be on getting ready to start production on season 3 here in about a month, and then you guys will be able to check out all the seasons and all the episodes on Altered.tv.
Yeah, but it's not spelled out altered. It's ALRTD. Shit, now I gotta look it up.
ALTRD.
Yeah, ALTRD dot com.
.tv.
.tv. Sorry, yeah, .tv.
Yeah, and you can download that on your iPhone, your Samsung, any Roku TV, and check out lots of content, man. There's like Cheech and Chong and Burners
on there. Yeah.
Patrick King's on there. The Gangiers on. There's so much great content on there.
Go check it out. If you don't be square. Don't be square. But
Don't
no,
say
man,
we
I
didn't
appreciate.
tell you.
Right? You're gonna see it popping off here soon. It's dude. I remember talking to those guys last year. They were doing the Can of Chef Phoenix thing, and then the Can of Chef Portland thing, and like all of that was rocking around. And I was like, no shit. And like, yeah, no, I definitely would love to be a part of any of all of that, because that's all my vibe, man. It's all my vibe. Run by people that just fucking love what they're doing, man. You know, that's just it.
Can of Chef Phoenix just dropped their 5 episodes on that same channel. It should talk all about it. We headline sponsored that, and I got to judge the competition. It was a lot of fun. They're looking to come back here next year and do the same thing, but on a bigger scale. So who knows? Maybe you'll be out here for it.
Well, I mean, shit, let's do that. Hell, let's take that one step further, and I don't know, we'll start up something Can of Chef Michigan, man.
Hey,
that's what we need. That's what we need. We need one in each state. Might as well.
Might as well.
You got to remember, the murder mitten's the thing holding the weapon. That's what it is. A lot of people think that we're the high five less standing, and maybe in some circles we are, but we're also that 5-finger slap that just hit you in the face too. So you got to think about that. It depends on which side of the state you're at. Yeah. No, man, I appreciate you coming back on the show. It's always good to be able to catch up, you know, and I just wanted to, you know, we've been talking about what you got going on and all of these things that you plan to do, and I felt it necessary to kind of come back on and like talk about that a little bit. I wanted to go a little bit more in depth with the book and the documentary, and I wanted people to see, you know, more importantly, that it's not just one reason. You know, there's a layer of emotions and just this, you know, endless like abyss of reasons. You know, there's reasons on top of reasons inside of reasons, and it all comes down to, you know, you're the type of person that, you know, at first glance, you know, like you were saying with the haters make me famous, you know, you come off a little intimidating. So I want to, and it happens to me too. And we don't mean, dude, we're not mean people. I mean, we can be mean, don't get me wrong. Like everybody's got a bad side, you know, but for the most part in life, you know, am I intimidating or are you just intimidated?
Right.
That's the mindset I really need people to understand. You know, just because I'm tatted up, you know, we are tatted up and we wear hats and we walk in with lip rings and we're just like, nah, fam, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean A, we're stupid, and B, we're going to rob you. I mean, maybe I didn't think about it till you said anything, but I just so happened to maybe have left my weapon at home. The point is, I'm kidding. No, seriously, I am. I don't carry weapons. I don't believe in them. But protect your house. That's fine. But you know, there's no reason for me to have a gun. That's it. I'd rather just give them a joint and be like, dude, if somebody's trying to rob you and like, here's a bunch of weed, they're like, all right, man, you cool. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry. Like, it's, you know, I've paid off bullies in high school with weed. It works out great. This isn't high school no more though. But no, man, seriously, I appreciate you coming on the channel, and I'd absolutely love to come out and do some Convicted Creations, man. I think that would be pretty fucking dope, man. I really do. But everybody, Chris Martin of Hempful Farms, OG Zonka, Zonka Miles, and Haters Make Me Famous. Go check out everything he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Chris, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. Seriously, man. And yeah, to my tokers, jokers, and smokers, this has been another edition of the Daily Chronicles. Keep smoking weed, y'all. Keep being wonderful.